So, folks, on the back of today's big news, I think the big story today is the has he been given a life term in a mental institution? The chap that killed three people in Nottingham, was it? Nottingham, should I say? Was it March of last year? I think it was. Two students and one elderly gentleman who, if memory serves, was a school caretaker. I'm pretty sure he was. The guy obviously has been to trial and it's been determined now, as I say, he's in a mental home, I think, for the rest of his life. There's been many calls over the last sort of 48 hours for a ban on things like machetes out on the streets and these really dangerous knives. Are they called zombie knives? I think they're zombie knives. If memory serves, I think they're zombie knives, but I'm not too sure. Anyway, I've heard something today, but I heard it in passing, so I don't know exactly who said it, and I can't repeat it word for word. I think it may have been one of the parents, one of the mothers of one of the students who were killed, but I might be wrong. But somebody has said today, look, never mind these zombie knives and the machetes, everybody, and I mean everybody that's carrying a knife outside there on the streets should be jailed. And I thought, you've got a point there, there's no doubt about that. It doesn't need a special knife or an adapted knife or a really, really long knife to kill somebody. And I would say if you're taking a knife out on the streets, and I know some may say it's to defend themselves, I know there's gangs out there, I appreciate all of that, but whether you're an aggressor or defending yourself, you're using that knife at the same time, and your idea is to stick that knife in somebody, and you can just snuff out a life of, at 14, 15, 16, 17 of no age before they've had a chance to live that life. And I think you should be jailed as well. I think whoever said it thought, yeah, you're spot on, 100%. If it were me, I was thinking, well, what would I do? Well, if I led things, if I was making laws or whatever else, or running the country, I'd think, right, anybody caught with a knife on the streets, regardless of whether you've used it or not, 6 months in jail. No let off for good behaviour, 6 months in jail, bang, you're in. If they get caught a second time, 6 years in jail. Again, no good behaviour, a full 6 years. Thereafter, third time, in jail for the rest of your life, throw away the key. Hasn't America got something like 3 strikes and you're out? This is similar. You carry a knife, you're out there to use it, or there's a good chance you're going to use it. So you've got to suffer the consequences. That, for me, would take knives off the streets in a heartbeat. The problem is, there's not the policing to cover it. I think you'd need a massive, massive injection of police numbers to cover that, because they'd have to do regular stop and searches, and it would be a nightmare. It really, really would. But it would stop murders on the streets, I'm pretty sure of that. And obviously, you've got the issue then with racism, because many, many people see gangs, especially black people, of a certain persuasion or certain look, and they think, they're dodgy, they're in a gang, they'll be carrying. And many times they'll be right, but it can be just as right for white people too, and all those in between. So you would have to look at stopping and searching everybody. But in the end, you'd get down to it, you'd get to the stage where people don't carry knives anymore. It'd be a long, laborious process, but it'd work. The other problem would be jails. There's probably not the jails in the country to take all these people in. There probably isn't. But again, something would have to be done. It's all going to be a case of finding loads of money for more detention or detention centres or jails, and or more police. But we find money for everything else. We even find it for potholes now. So can we not find it to get a police force out there that'll stop this knife culture and stop these people getting senselessly murdered? I would think we can. I'm sure we'll never do it, especially in the way I've just suggested, but I think it would work. What are your thoughts? Let me know down below. I think many will say, you're off your head, as though that'd ever work. Well, I'm sure we all know it would work, but I'm sure we all know it's never going to happen. Though I wish it would. I'm speaking from not a place of knowledge, because I've never had anyone in my family thus far been stabbed, and I hope it never does happen. But my youngest is 29 now, I think he is. And from the ages of about 17, 18 to 24, 25, I used to worry every single time he went out on the town or to one of the cities nearby. It used to worry me to death. Not quite as much now, because he's more often with a girlfriend, and the lads that he hangs around with are older and more mature, and hopefully if they come across other lads, they'll also be older and more mature, and hopefully there's going to be no trouble there. But it used to worry me every time he used to go out, not for himself, what he might do, but what somebody may do to him. That worry isn't as stark anymore, but it's still always there in the back of your mind. And as I say, you take knife crimes away and you're going to stop one hell of a lot of killings, you really are. But anyway, today I suppose what we should be looking at is the mothers and fathers, the families of those two young children, because they're not much other than children that died as young students, and the family of that older gentleman, I think he was a caretaker. Really, really sad. It really is. But anyway, take them off the streets. It will stop happening. There's no doubt about that.